Hey, what's up? Welcome to DGen Ed. That's degenerative education, meaning none of this is financial advice. Just me having fun looking at charts. I like the charts behind me. And so, happy Tuesday. It's a short week. As you know, we had Martin Luther King Day off yesterday. And so I just wanted to start the week, and I'm going to try to start every day by going over the volatility index, the S&P 500, as well as Bitcoin, and then anything else that stands out to me. And I'll try to do this for an hour normally, but unfortunately today, as you might notice the thumbnail, I have jury duty today, so I have to cut this one a little bit short, so I'm only going to be streaming for about half an hour before I have to get running. But yeah, so I wanted to start here with the UVIX, that is the 2x long VIX futures ETF. And the reason why I like to look at that one is because I do feel like it's a good way to get exposure to the VIX, which actually, doesn't have pre-market or after-hours trading. And so that's another reason why I've got the UVIX up here. And so we can see that on Friday, I believe that was the 17th, the UVIX closed at a price of $30.40, being up on the day about 1%. But we have seen about an 89-cent pullback during the pre-market, going down almost 3%, coming down to around 29.50. And we can see that actually the low during pre-market was at 29.19. And I suspect that we will see that the S&P 500 is going up in the pre-market, and we will possibly see a gap up once the market does open. And so with the UVIX here, got the after hours trading up here on the 10-minute chart. And we have broken below this level 30, marked here in orange, coming down to 29.19. And so now I'm just going to switch over to the daily chart because, I like to, have these red and green boxes drawn up on it. And I think that we are, now that we have pulled back a good amount in one of these red phases where we are starting to see some discounts. And, the level that I have that stands out to me, it looks like it's at 2778. Does look like that's based on a Fibonacci extension here. And so I might actually, let's see, just switch over to the hour time frame so I can see where I get that extension from. And yeah, it's, quite possible that I could adjust that, move that over. So it's going from the high here to the low and the high. But then that would really just be like the distance from here to here. And so if it does break through 29, I could see 28 as being the next dip buy level. And so that is what I am looking for. And also, just like how we were holding up this yellow uptrend here, we eventually did break through it and then actually retrace to it before continuing lower. And so I'm wondering if this orange line here at 30, given that in the pre-market we are trading below 30, I'm wondering if we are going to start to head lower, potentially down to like 25, give or take. And the reason why I think that it's probably going lower than 30, aside from this Fibonacci extension, is just because, as you can see, we have kind of been trading in this downtrending channel, forgiving this big move to the upside. Other than that, we have been in this channel, and so I do think that it might be time for us to test the bottom side of that to represent another great dip buying opportunity like we've seen over here, as well as, especially like we saw over here before this big move going to the upside. And let's see, I feel like there was another reason. Oh, well, we broke this trend line, so I think that we might be breaking this one. And, I think it's always, just going to surprise us. And also, of course, they did have a reverse split, a 1-for-10 reverse split. So this previously would have been around $2.94. Now it's at $29.41, as you can see in the pre-market up there. And, the reason why there's a reverse split is because of contango, because of these futures ETFs. The price, no matter what, is going to be down, but going down, trending down, but otherwise it will be kind of mimicking what the VIX does, so you can take advantage of volatility to the upside, even if it does bleed or fade to the downside. And so that's why I'm prepared for 28, and that's why I accept that 25 might also be hit. So I'm not being too aggressive with this one. But yeah, just going to look over at the VIX here, the daily time frame, because that's of course all that we have here. And this one, it does look like there is a little bit of a trend to the upside. Perhaps we've broken it, or perhaps, I'm being a little tight there with that line, but we did get a test of it right here. So, I think that's pretty reasonable that perhaps it broke through that, retesting the underside. It might be going lower to like 1450 or so, or potentially coming back down to retest this downtrend, which is, as you can see, it's kind of approximate, and that could be bringing price back down to $12.70, marked by that yellow line. And I did just want to take a step back to show where this white line originates from. You can see that that has been very notable resistance going back to the beginning of 2022. Aside from when we broke above it, it does look like we have approximately been treating that level as support now, so I could definitely see a retest of 1270, so keep that in mind. And so now I'm just going to switch over to the SPY. This is the Spiders S&P 500 ETF, currently trading around $600 in the pre-market. Looks like it's up about $2.50 or 0.42 cents. And so, rather than looking at this on the daily time frame, I'm just going to switch over to the 10-minute. And so we can see this nice gap up, and this would also correspond with the gap down in the UVIX, and that, I believe, is because of the inauguration of Trump yesterday. I think that markets are just pricing in going higher, things looking good for businesses, and number to go up and whatnot. So yeah, you could clearly see that gap up there, and it looks like kind of a wild last 10 minutes here. Looks like a pretty big range there on that candle, coming down to a low for that candle of $598.12, currently trading around $600. And so I do expect the SPY to continue to go higher, but it also might be short-lived. You do notice that we have broken out from this yellow downtrend when looking at this on the daily time frame. It does look like we potentially have, a close above it right here, but, that's a fake out, clearly, because we did, go down massively after that. On the 18th of December, it looks like came down almost 3% on the day. So pretty big rejection there, and we have just been not able to break above this yellow downtrend, which goes up to the high for the SPY, which is at $607.03. But we are currently trading above that downtrend, so that is looking pretty good. And I do have, let's see, this level marked here at $596.07. Not exactly sure why I have that exact level marked. It might just be, let's see. Yeah, I'm not exactly sure why I have that level marked. It could just be because of that intersection with that downtrend. I was wondering if this would be going up higher. Clearly got rejected, but then gapped up on Friday. That is a spinning top, though, on the daily time frame, opening here at 597, closing at 597.58, as you can see up here. But notable wick to the upside and downside, so that suggests indecision that this could be putting in a top. But clearly, we see pre-market at 600, and as I have drawn here, what suggests that this could be perhaps rallying higher, maybe to the prior highs, maybe not quite, but then perhaps getting a rejection, maybe testing 596 as support or coming to that downtrend, which would be around 593, 594, somewhere around there. But I do think overall, bigger picture, that the SPY will be hitting new all-time highs this year. But, we might be seeing a pullback between them. So I did get a comment asking about some calls that I think expire soon. For me personally, I don't really do short-dated contracts with options just because it affects me how I trade things. I get concerned that it's going to go to zero, and I end up taking losses, whatnot. So personally, I don't like short-dated contracts. I don't really know how to trade them well. I like going longer dated. And so with the SPY, I think longer dated, like months and months into the future, I do think that price will be going up to, I know, the prior highs. But, also, I don't really trade the SPY. I just like to look at it as an indicator for, where the market's going. And I think it's going to be going to new all-time highs. And so with that being said, I do have this drawn here on the SPY. Let's look over at the SPX. Yeah, this is another reason why this does look like it could be putting in a top there. It looks like we opened at $5,995.40 on Friday and then closed about, let's see, 59 cents higher than that. Is that right? It doesn't seem, $59 higher than that, about 1% higher. But, that's quite a range here. Just, it's such a high dollar amount for the SPX. This is the S&P 500 index. And we did hit a high of over 6,000 on Friday, 6,014.96 it looks like. And the prior all-time highs were, let's see, $6,099.97, so right around 6,100. I think that we will eventually be eclipsing that. I think we will eventually be breaking out from this downtrending level here, which, as you might notice, corresponds with this downtrending level. That is a parallel channel. And so, what I think that we are trading in is, what we're forming is a bull flag. Got a little bit of a fake out here going below that level. That was on, let's see, the 13th. So yeah, on Monday last week there was some panic. Did open below $5,807.78, which was the low on the 10th. But then, moved up, reclaimed that downtrend. So you never want to be faked out. You always want to be looking for these levels to hold. It was, though, a little precarious after, opening lower, but then closing not only above this red line here, marking the low from the 10th, but also closing above that downtrend, the base of that channel. But then the next day, opened higher, closed lower, and did get rejected from this purple level here at right around $5,865, corresponding with the low from November 6th. And that did serve as support here, as you can see, kind of a little bit of fake out support. Again, wick below here, and then kind of, a notable break below. And so that kind of got me thinking, well, this is kind of in, 50-50 land, where here, we haven't seen it really give a signal that it is breaking down, just kind of a fake out, then move up higher, but not to above this level. So, needs to reclaim that purple line or, break below these two levels down here. But then we saw, of course, this gap up. So that's looking really nice, really strong. And we are above this downtrend, just like I was showing on the SPY. And so I think that, we are going to need to be holding around 5,980, the red line here. If we can't do that, I could see coming down to, let's see, the open from the 16th. What price was that at? I'm just going to draw a line to mark that. The open was $5,963.61. So I'm going to have to adjust this level a little bit. So that was, what did I say? Maybe I can just, yeah, it should be magnetic, but maybe I just need to zoom in on it. There we go. 63.61. Okay, cool. So yeah, I'm going to lock that in place. And that one, I might make it a little bit thicker, make it orange. And so, yeah, those are two levels to the downside that I would look for us to being to hold above. But we could definitely be seeing a pullback, a retest of that yellow downtrend, and then a move to test this. Let's see, the top of that channel. And so I guess kind of what I would like to see, just going to draw a little bit of a rough pattern here. I'd like to see a bull flag formed here, and then from that we could go higher. So yeah, just kind of a rough drawing there. But whether we consolidate below this level, which I suspect we will, and then, and actually maybe I want to leave that up and I can do just kind of a mock Fibonacci extension going from the low here to that downtrend and then the base of that flag. Of course, this is just being approximate, but from that we could see a measured move to around $6,300, and that distance is going to be, going backwards from this level, the 100%, down to this pivot point here. That same distance is the distance from this pivot point down to this one. So that is how you would draw that. I'm just going to delete those so this doesn't get too cluttered. And then, excuse me, I'm going to move over to Bitcoin. Here does look like I removed the drawings, so I'm going to pull those back. This, has been kind of a rocky 3-day weekend. I'm actually going to have a sip of coffee here real quick. And yeah, so of course we had the launch of the Trump coin, kind of a big surprise there, even to the insiders who were present at the crypto ball. As far as I understand, they were not aware, or at least the majority of them were not aware of the launch of the official Trump coin. That's TRUMP, Trump. And yeah, so I think that from my understanding, it was talked about, hey, this is potentially a great thing because it could be bringing new people into the crypto space, people who are fans of Trump that are not exposed to crypto. They see this, they want to partake. It's kind of like Pokemon. Got to catch them all. And whenever Trump releases something, whether it's NFT, any sort of memorable a new hat, like the Elon's Dark MAGA hat, and you gotta collect them all, gotta catch them all. And so I think that probably it sparked a lot of people's interest in, oh, hey, I need to get that. But for me personally, my experience with some of the new launches of coins, I tend to have a tough time knowing how to get them. And because, let's see, Trump was launched on Solana, you didn't necessarily have to buy Solana to get Trump, but I believe that's kind of the pathway to do it. Just like if you get an Ethereum-based coin, you need to have some Ethereum for gas fees, whatnot. But I think that, like Robinhood, for example, if you get, and this is from my experience trading Ethereum coins, because the wallet that I have does not hold Solana. But, if I get a coin like Pepe, let's say I just got some Pepe, transferred it to my wallet, and I did not need to have Ethereum for the gas fees. That was just taken out from the Pepe to pay those Ethereum gas fees. And so Robinhood kind of streamlined that, but from the wallet that I have, I need to have Ethereum to then move those Ethereum tokens outside of my wallet. And so I think that probably resulted in some people being reluctant or holding people back from getting the Trump coin. And because we saw, let's see, it's because of these moving averages, I think, that I'm not zooming in. So that's kind of why I don't like to have moving averages up here all the time. Yeah, so on this day, on the 19th, and these candles are based on the Eastern time zone, so they're not really the best to be looking at, but we did see, there's a big drop coming down to, it looks like a low of, just about 100,000. It looks like 99,500, but, just right around 100,000. I think that was a good dip buying opportunity. I unfortunately didn't have a limit buy set for around 100,000. I do now, but, just for pretty small amount, I'm a little fish. But anyways, you see Bitcoin coming down, and you see that with a lot of other coins. And so my understanding is that, crypto native people who are familiar with crypto, they sold, their Bitcoin, their Doge, their whatever, and say, hey, I'm going to sell a little bit of that to buy some Trump. And so that's why you see this big red candle, this big dip. And so it wasn't bringing in new people to the crypto space. But what you have now is Robinhood has now listed Trump. And so, like I said, for me, in my experience trading Ethereum tokens, it is much easier to just buy it directly and have Robinhood or the exchange take the gas fees out of the token for the Ethereum expense or the Solana expense. And so I think that, maybe actually I just want to pull up Trump coin. And let's see, I want to do it over here. So yeah, this is, the Bitcoin chart. And I'm just going to show like just zoom in. I'm not the best with TradingView. I don't use it too often, but you can see here on the 19th, that candle looks a little, actually it doesn't really look too different, but you do see that, it closed down here a little bit earlier. It's a Greenwich Mean Time or UTC versus Eastern. It did have a little bit more time in this candle than over here, I believe. So that's why you see this being lower. But anyways, there's that candle. And I wanted to pull up the Trump coin, official Trump, and let's see which exchange do I want to look at. I guess I'll look at Binance because I don't know KCX or assume Mexican exchange or Trump Media. Yes, that's different. That's DGT. So yeah, I will do Binance. And so this, just hasn't, I guess Binance just listed it. So yeah, there's just not that much data on it just yet. Maybe this will have more. This was from, like $12. So it really, hasn't been trading for very long. And maybe I want to switch this over to, I'll just do the 1 hour. Yeah, because it launches here. I feel like a lot of people probably got in here when it was consolidating and it started to move up. A lot of people probably got in here and got, effectively rugged. This came down. And so now that it's listed on Robinhood, I feel like people will probably see, hey, I wasn't able to get into Trump before because I didn't know how to trade Solana and all of that. Just very confusing. I can now do it easily with Robinhood. And it's pulled back some. So let's just see how far it's pulled back from those highs. It has pulled back, in grand total, about 61%, but currently it's down about 50%. So, hey, it's a 50% discount, and that means that from this level, it could go up, let's see, that's a 2x. So, if I just thinking about this, if I get in at $38, and that heads up to 75, 74, then, that's a 2x. And so I could see this as being a nice way to onboard people into the crypto space now. But when it was initially launched, no, I don't think so. But yeah, with that, a lot of liquidity, a lot of money taken out of these other coins like Bitcoin going into Trump. And then now I think people have realized, well, hey, maybe I shouldn't have done that, put the money back into Bitcoin. And now we're seeing price around 104, 105,000. So looking pretty good there. And we did, of course, hit the new all-time high, I guess just yesterday in the morning. And that was 109,455.46 looking at the data here on Webull. But if I do look over at TradingView, we can see where that high was. This is the 1 hour. I'm just going to switch over to the daily. That high was at a price of $109,358.01. So, Webull, it's a little bit higher listed than what you actually see over here. And so I would consider the Coinbase price to be a more accurate representation, than the price here listed in Webull. But anyways, yeah, I think that this is going to be going higher. I think that it will be making new all-time highs. Levels, though, that I'd look for us to be holding above, $102,800. Looks like it's the approximate high from over here. And if we do break below that, Of course, 100,000, that's a level I personally would like it to retest, spend some more time below 100. But if that doesn't happen, that's fine. I just do fairly passive DCA. That's not too exciting. A couple other tickers I wanted to go over in the pre-market before I have to get running to my jury duty summons. Intel just put a video out on that. I might just pull it up on the screen here so you guys can see it. I would definitely recommend it. It's one that I am clearly very excited about. Bears are running away from Intel also, like the thumbnail. I thought that was fun to make. And so, yeah, that one is just one that my mind is blown by how that chart looks. I'm really excited about it. Only has received 38 views. That's kind of disappointing. But yeah, I mean, in the pre-market, it's up almost 3%. If I do switch over to the 10-minute time frame, we can see that. Let's see, maybe I just want to draw a little bit of a trend line here. And that looks, pretty nice. So we'll see if that holds. I might make that line a little bit thicker just so I don't forget about it or anything. And let's see if I look over at the daily. Yeah, I don't know if it's gonna be doing that, but looking at the 10-minute time frame. Sure. Oh, and the reason why I think is because that anchor point is in the pre-market, so then it just kind of goes up to infinity, I believe. So hopefully, no, it's still just pretty steep. But yeah, that's effectively the trend line that it's holding in the pre-market. So we'll see about that. I'm really excited about Intel. Bigger picture, looking at this on the weekly time frame, definitely think it's getting up to 30 sometime this year. Could be getting up to 50. That's one of those are two contracts that I've been following, and that's really all based on this here, this Fibonacci retracement, and also some options data. So I'd encourage checking that out. And also I did do the video on Marathon Digital. This one, it looks like during the pre-market, it's up about 1.3%. Generally, I think that this is going to be going higher over the course of the year. But if we look at the daily time frame, it does look like it could be bumping into some resistance at the purple level around, 21 or 22 bucks, somewhere around there. So yeah, that's why, I like to do the longer dated contracts. I also did want to mention a few other tickers. I'm not going to have time to go over all of them. But I did want to mention, I was thinking NEO. I just kind of wanted to look at that. It's not really doing too much in the pre-market. It's up 0.34 cents, so nothing too crazy, but generally, I think that this is just setting up to be launching, so I'm really excited about that. Also, I heard that Trump had mentioned tariffs on Canada and Mexico, but nothing on China yet. So hopefully that's a good sign for China. Hopefully there's nothing to surprise the markets, or if there is a surprise, it is to the upside. That's what I would like to see. Let's see, I also had Celsius up here. This is down up about 0.5% in the pre-market, kind of trading in what looks like a little bit of a channel here. So we'll have to see. And I'm of course just looking at the daily time frame with these right now. BlackBerry, this one, I think I had mentioned in the options video that I could see this coming down to 385. And we're down to around 396 right now, being down 0.75% in the pre-market. But generally, I think that this could be heading up to like these highs of 575. Another one on the list is Rivian. This one, I was thinking I was more bullish on, but then, with this candle on Friday, big wick to the upside, I think it's getting rejected. And I think that we are going to be seeing, potentially price coming down to around 12 bucks, or at least I am not going to be too aggressive with it until we start to see some bottoming signals. I don't see that in the unusual whales data, but some data that I have been looking at is the GameStop data. Just trying to, I went over in the options video that, I had a buy placed to pick up another contract, the contract that I've been tracking at a certain level. But then I was thinking about it over the weekend that I don't really see any data. And any data from Unusual Whales that suggests the bottom is in. We are down about 0.5% in the pre-market to around 27.37. So not really, much lower. And the low here is 27.02. So we're not going below that. If we do look at the 10-minute time frame, it is pretty reasonable there. But, I could see this potentially coming down to around 26, maybe coming down to this white trend line here. So I want to be patient with that, so I don't have a buy order placed for the Unusual Whales data. But I did want to point out here, this is a reason why I removed that buy order that I had talked about, because I just don't see anything in the data that suggests the bottom is in. We have this negative volume here. Calls seems kind of weak in green there, not really being too aggressive, where if puts are going up on Friday, we had a net put premium increase of about 682,000, whereas net call premium went down by 3.73 thousand. And if we do look at the bear bull slider here, it does look like slightly more was on the bearish side than the bullish side. And so, I would rather just wait for a clear signal that a bottom is in with the Unusual Whales options data before, really starting to, add more to my contract position. But anyways, I do see that there are some comments. Hey, Sandy, how's it going? I do have to get running to the jury summons, which is unfortunate. And so I will do another one of these tomorrow. I'm going to try to do it every day, but unfortunately it won't be a live stream because I have to be at work the next couple days. But anyways, if you guys did enjoy this, make sure you like it. If you do enjoy this different kind of content that I'm putting out, and if you're not already, please make sure you subscribe. I'm going to try to do a video and or a stream every day, just trying to start the new year strong, getting into a good habit. But anyways, hopefully you guys have a great start to the day, and I will be on X, I imagine, throughout the day. So if you want to exchange some comments or whatever, I will be on there, and I guess I should pull that up. It is listed in the top, but this is, let's see, my profile. So it's dgen_and because I am Andy, whereas he is Ed. But anyways,